Is your Pinterest board full of fake hair? Did you know the majority of hairstyles you see online are either AI or wigs? Yes, you heard that right. That Google search is not what you think. We have some amazing hairdressers posting incredible colours and hairstyles on socials. But what about when you Google blonde hair colour? This is something you need to know before you get your heart set on a particular hair colour. There are many factors when it comes to colouring your hair, and especially if you want to change your hair colour. First, what is your existing hair colour, the condition, and the texture? This will dominate what can and can't be done. We also look at face shape, skin tone. This tells us whether you can wear a warm or cool tone. The wrong tone can make your skin look sallow and grey. So this is where a colour consultation with your colourist is key. Totally bring photos. We love photos, but let's be realistic about these photos. Back in the good old days, pre-internet, clients would tear out a picture from a magazine of a celebrity and bring it in to show the hair colour they were wanting. Yes, celebrities had added hair extensions and the photos were highly edited, but at least most of the time the hair was real. But the world has changed and sites like Shein and Temu can create anything the public desires, including the latest hairstyles. This all seems like a bit of fun if you're wanting to play around with wigs. But the real issue I want to address today is the overuse of wigs on models to portray unrealistic hair colours and styles that you'll view online and bring into your hair salon. Firstly, these wigs are usually made of synthetic hair. They are cheap and designed for short-term use. But that plastic hair looks damn shiny and comes up amazing on camera. It can appear thicker than natural hair and sits fuller on the head. Isn't this the hair you all desire, but without the plastic element, of course? And secondly, the synthetic hair can be any colour the creator desires, because plastic hair can be dyed any unrealistic colour and stay that colour. They can create black roots on white blonde hair without bleeding or running, and the colour will stay in place and never fade because, well, plastic is plastic. So by using wigs and synthetic hair, the manufacturers have unlimited creativity and a hair colour that doesn't fade or blend when washing. In fact, you can't really wash synthetic hair like you do natural hair. It tends to matte and not, but for one-time use, it's worth it. A lot of the photos you see on Google and Pinterest are wigs on pretty girls. Do you really want the hair colour, or do you secretly want to just look like the girl in the picture? So the creators know this. They find a pretty model and put a perfectly coloured wig on her head, bit of professional makeup, and the model looks like someone we think we can look like every day. Bam, we want that hair colour. And we expect our colourists to create it, damn it. They can do that, can't they? Okay, the greatest colour culprits are silver grey hair colour, white blonde with a black root, and of course, rainbow coloured hair. These colours are achievable, but they do take time and work, and the hair needs to be in the best condition possible. And they almost always will fade fast and are a hard colour to maintain long term. Also, super hard to replicate a second time around. Let's take a look at what AI created when I asked it specific questions. These are all definitely pics clients would bring into the salon, but hard to achieve on most people. As you can see in this picture, I asked AI to create me a picture of a girl with platinum blonde hair with the black root. Now, this picture is amazing. This girl looks real. She does not look AI at all compared to, say, AI 6 months or even a year ago. So this would be the kind of picture that you would actually see on somewhere like Pinterest or Google. And look at that amazing dark regrowth blend with the blonde. And if you came into the salon and requested that, that is actually a very difficult colour not to apply. It is quite difficult to apply, but it'd be even more difficult to rinse out. So all of that black's going to run onto the blonde. So something like this would be a grow out, but looking at her complexion and eyes and everything, I actually don't think she would be that dark naturally, and her dark roots are way darker than her eyebrows. And if she was naturally pretty much black hair like her black roots, that blonde on the ends would be really difficult to get. None of it kind of matches her skin tone and the ends color of her hair. So it says to me, if I was looking at that, that it would be a fake or edited, or these days AI picture. But just be aware of that when you are looking at these pictures online, that this would very probably rarely be occurring on a person color-wise with skin tone and eyes and hair color. It just is not something that you would see all the time. Now we have the infamous silver grey hair that is the biggest dread for hairdressers. So in this one, I asked AI to create me a pretty young girl with silver grey hair color cut into a shaggy bob. So this, again, is something that is rare and quite hard to get. Not only the colour to get such an even silver grey, but to make silver grey look so even in a shaggy bob. So when hair is quite textured, there'll be different porosities throughout the hair. So if we were going to put something like a grey over a hair cut like this, you would find that it would not be even. You would have different textures and colours and variations in the grey because of the way that the hair's cut. So if you were going to get a basic, very simple, clean, uniform grey look on hair, it would probably be better off on a one length bob. You would get a more even tone. Now, again, this is a very similar looking girl to the other picture. You could not tell if she's real or AI. She doesn't look AI. She looks like she would be just a run-of-the-mill girl that they've taken a photo of. Instantly, I'd probably look at this and think, oh, yes, she's real, but maybe they have edited the hair color because the hair color is quite uniform looking. Her eyebrows are darker in this picture. So I would say that this is probably a better tone for her skin, and this would probably be closer to a look that could be achieved on someone. The only thing is the grey colour, so uniform, and actually the grey itself is quite a hard colour to get. If you do get it on hair, the hair needs to be bleached first, and then a grey sort of semi-permanent or kind of vivid colour needs to be put over it. And just be aware it won't turn out this uniform because of the different porosities in the hair. It'll grab differently, which is fine. It'll still look amazing. But the major thing with grey is it does not last. It only lasts a couple of washes because, funnily enough, it is not a naturally occurring colour in the hair because grey is not a colour. Grey is what hair turns when the pigment starts coming out of it before it goes white. So just be aware of that. To actually colour hair grey is quite a hard feat and a hard task for hairdressers. It can be done, and if it is done, it is a short-term colour. You will need to be topping it up at home, and any good hairdresser will tell you that. And here's a lovely AI girl once again. She's slightly changed. I can see her eyebrows have lightened and they look a bit more wispy, but thank you, AI. I asked you to create a girl with rainbow hair and you came up with an amazing colour. This is something that every hairdresser would dream of doing. Such a fun colour and so even. Colour like this would take quite a long time to do. The hair would need to be bleached first, but just be aware that something like this is going to cost you a lot of dollars because of the amount of work in it. So this would all be painted in different layers, and I'm sure you've all seen plenty of videos of how this is done online, and it is a lot of work. But be aware that the evenness of the colour, your hair would have to be in really good condition to get those really solid, even ends, and you'd have to be doing regular treatments. Now, the only issue with a colour like this long term, looks amazing in the picture, but the fading will vary as you wash it. So each one of these colours in this hair will fade very differently, and your ends will fade differently from your roots, and that's just the nature of vivids. They all fade at different rates. The other issue with a colour like this would be the upkeep, as in getting it done a second time, trying to get all the colours in the same spot and getting it all very even. So just be aware something like this can be achieved. It's going to cost a bit of money to get it done, and the upkeep of something like this is going to be huge, and it's probably going to be something that you can't just continue to replicate each time. It is doable, but there's a lot of work put into this. So don't think that something like this is totally easy, and AI has done an amazing job. and did it in a couple of seconds for me. So we'd all love if a task like this of rainbow hair was as quick as AI can do it, but it's not. You also need to be careful with washing a color like this. It would need to be washed in cold water so the colors don't end up fading. So long term, this is quite a hard color to keep, but looks amazing. And if you love it, then go for it. Now let's get to the original reason for this video. Those wonderfully created wigs are sold on Shein and Temu. Here's what I found. I love this look from Shein for $19.95. And look at this color. Now, this is quite a popular color at the moment with that really blonde fringe with a dark root and that gorgeous beigey, ashy blonde. Now, to get your hair to look this long and thick and luscious with that gorgeous wave and that amazing white blonde placement is quite difficult. So not many people have hair this long and this thick, but these colours are quite hard to achieve on someone with hair that dark, as we can see in her natural. And to put that in as a root stretch, that would be quite difficult to get that blend. So just be aware that this one is a great one. It's quite a popular colour, but very hard to achieve naturally, including the thickness and length of the hair. Great wig though, and it is heat resistant synthetic wig. So if you really, really want this colour, great purchase. Go off and buy this one. Now this lovely lady is the blonder version of the one before. Again, gorgeous ashy root stretch, really white blonde around the face, long, luscious, thick blonde hair. Can be achieved. This one would be a lot easier. Definitely not the thickness of the hair. You would have to have naturally amazingly thick hair. But just to sort of get that look without it looking 90s style with that really white fringe, to get it really blended and natural looking like this picture is a little bit more difficult, but can be done. But again, if you want hair this long and thick, go and buy the wig. Now we have this gorgeous colour, another one from Shein. This girl actually, I don't know if this is a wig. She kind of looks AI to me. So I know they're advertising the wig, but I'm not sure this is a girl with a wig on. I think she might be an AI creation, and the color would be an AI creation as well. She just doesn't look too real, or she's been super enhanced. But to get a wig like that is possible in a synthetic. The color can be dyed and the color can stay in the spot that it's in. This on human hair can be quite hard to get the colors quite ashy and cool and clean, especially for long term. Can be done. You'd have to be quite blonde and darken down your roots. So this is achievable, but again, that look of hair is really pretty, but won't look like this all the time. And here we go. For $18.95, you can have the perfect Kim Kardashian bob. This is the ultimate kind of bob that everyone wants. And again, very hard to achieve on natural hair. That really dark root with that really soft blend with that really white end. And for hair to sit like this all the time in a bob, it would have to be highly styled. So just be aware that these bobs look amazing, but for them to look like this when you're at the gym or on a hot day or just moping around the house, it's not going to look amazing like this all the time unless you have the wig. But this color as well, really hard to achieve to get that blend through the roots with quite the amount of depth that it has, but gorgeous look anyway. And look at this one, ladies. Looks like another AI model, if you want my opinion. This color is another gorgeous color, very ashy gray at the roots and a nice silvery end. Again, quite fake, really hard to achieve in the salon, even harder to keep this color. The greys do not hold and last a long time because hair will always default to warmth, and usually at this level are yellow. Those ends are extremely white, and by the look of this girl, she's some sort of Asian descent, so that would be extremely hard to get her hair this color. But great colored wig. This is something that you probably won't get in salon. It won't look anything like this. Quite a hard color to achieve. So for $20.95, I would say go and buy the wig. Okay, now we have these two. These are my favorites because it shows you not only what a wig can do, but also what a bit of Photoshop can do. So in the first picture, we have this amazing, beautiful curly hair, and good luck to those who can grow their hair that long and thick and have such height at the roots with that beautiful curl. It really is quite an impossible head of hair unless that is hand tonged and curled professionally. Even a perm probably wouldn't do that because the hair's too heavy and will weigh the curl down and you would not get the body at the roots. But this lovely lady has it and it looks amazing and makes you want to have hair like that. So you would take it into the salon and sort of say, this is it, this is what I want. Also the very chunky kind of white ends with the dark roots, that's also quite difficult to get. But the first picture I love, she's a beautiful kind of beigey, beachy blonde with a nice creamy blonde end. And then the second picture, she's a really ashy grey with a very silvery white end. So as you can see, and that's why I put up these two pictures, not only because this wig is incredible and nobody really walks around with hair this great, but also the power of just editing the photo, which can happen as well. So both look fantastic on the model, but the colors are very different and can change her skin tone. But also it goes to show that somebody can take a photo or do a hairstyle of a certain color tone and then use the editing tool, even just on your iPhone, to change the color. So they can take the warmth out of it, make it more ashy. They can add warmth. You can do so many things. So sometimes these really silvery white kind of hair colors can be highly edited. So just be really careful of that. I always say to people, think about, do you see people walking down the street with hair like that or with that hair color? So that's a huge one because you don't really see people walking down the street with a really silvery grey artificial colored hair. I mean, obviously there's older people with grey hair, but that beautiful kind of silvery ashy artificial color, it's just not a common thing because it is such a hard color to keep. So just be aware of not only wigs, but also photo editing. Just remember, the internet world is not the real world. And now with the creation of AI, it is getting crazy with all the fake colors you can find online. As I said before, pictures are great for hairdressers. We love them to show inspiration, but be aware that what you show us may not be something that we can create on your hair. And a good colorist will communicate this to you. And if you're loving a certain hair color and style and you know it cannot be achieved on your hair, buy yourself a wig and have some fun. Thanks for listening. If you want to see more videos, then like and subscribe and add your questions below.